This is the world debut of the first Mystichrome Mustang you've seen in over 20 years, and today I'm going to tell you all about it. Back in 2004, Ford Motor Company came out with the Mystichrome Cobra, and that car was a game changer because the paint flip-flopped. Every time you change the angles, so the color would change as well. Now, what's crazy is that there's not been a single Mustang in the world use that color from the factory until today. This is the 2024 RTR Spec 2 with a custom paint job, and I cannot explain to you how much this means to me and what it means for the overall car industry, and that's coming up later on in this video. But first, let's give you a quick little look at what it takes to make a car this special. As you can see on the screen, this Mustang GT started life at Town & Country Ford as a black loaded up Mustang GT. That's before RTR got a hold of it and did what you see here. Now, this is technically considered a Spec 2 package, so it comes with all of the fun things that you're used to seeing. Things like the hood vents, you've got the chin splitter, the iconic grille, amongst a lot of different things that RTR does to these Mustangs to make them so unique on the Spec 2. But what makes this one so special and so unique is this is a one of one at the current moment. This is the only one in the world that is painted with the authentic Mystichrome color paint job that you got on the original 2004 Mustang Cobra. And so, as I've already mentioned to you, this is the very first Mustang in over 20 years to wear this color from a factory option with RTR. Now, let's talk about what did they have to do to get this paint to work out like it is. Now, one thing you're gonna notice as you walk around the paint, if you're brand new to this color, Mystichrome works like this. The color will actually change as you're walking around the vehicle. So as this light is hitting the vehicle, sometimes it looks green, sometimes it looks blue, sometimes it looks purple. Some people call it a flip-flop paint job, but it's really cool that you're getting this from the RTR factory. Now, you've also got your vinyl decals up here on the hood, as well as on the back side of the vehicle. But at the end of the day, when they are taking this black vehicle and they're going to repaint this vehicle, because this is not a wrap, they have to sand and prep everything. They have to take the doors off. They have to take the hood off. They have to spray down all of the door jambs. That's exactly right. You can see that all of the door jambs are also painted to match. Even into the crevices into this side of the door jamb, there's no nook, no cranny that is overlooked on this specific build. This is the reason that this paint job is a little bit more of an expensive option, because it's not a wrap. But realistically, I think they said that the pricing of this specific color is going to be anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 as a price option. Now, if you've seen that video on Donut Media, shout out to them, they covered the Ford GT that was with this specific paint job. It was a $100,000 option on that car for just the paint code. So I would argue that even at $15,000, this color is an absolute deal, because if you are in the same age range as I am, the 2004 Mystichrome Cobra was like my halo car at the time. In fact, I saw one at the Mustang celebration for the anniversary. I think it was the 60th anniversary not long ago, and I wigged out, because the cool part is not only was that a 2004 Mystichrome Cobra, but it actually came from Town & Country Ford originally, and the customer still had his window sticker in the car from when it was brand new. So a pretty cool little setup. But this car is so special to me because I am a massive RTR fan. So as you know, Town & Country Ford, which is our sister company to TC Customs, we are an RTR dealer. But more importantly than that, I've got a lot of respect for the company. I've got a lot of respect for Vaughn himself. I've talked to him on many occasions, and what I love about Vaughn and his entire team is they're good people when no one's watching. And if that doesn't hit you hard, you need to listen to that again. They're good people when no one's watching. That's what I'm looking for when I'm looking to partner up with somebody, is who are they when they don't need something from you? And Vaughn Gittin Jr. has met me a couple of times before we were ever a dealer for them, and he has just been a stand-up guy from the very get-go. And I'm gonna tell you, he has got a vision for what Ford Motor Company can be with this special line of RTR vehicles, that I don't think anybody else in the entire industry has ever come up with. In fact, I would argue that RTR, the brand of vehicles, has got the youngest demographic out of anybody in the car game for a factory available option. I really, really believe that. You know, you've got all these other manufacturers, these other customization companies, but they really cater to an older set of customers. I'm trying to be careful the way I word that, but realistically speaking, RTR speaks to that younger crowd that I'm trying to desperately hold on to myself, even though I realize as I'm about to be 40 years old, I'm kind of getting out of that demographic, but I still have a massive love for this vehicle and everything that it speaks for. In addition to the paint, let's talk about the wheels, tires, and the suspension. This particular RTR Mustang has got the Aero 5 wheels, and obviously it's gonna have the Nitto tires. Did you think there's gonna be anything else except for a Nitto on this car? But in addition to the wheels and the tires, you've also got the RTR Tactical full suspension system. So you've got the low ring springs, you've got the struts, you've got sway bars, you've got everything you need to have an adjustable suspension system right out of the box. And you even have the ability to go with coilovers if that's something that you wanted to upgrade to. But man, I tell you, the showstopper is gonna be the paint. Have I talked about the paint yet? I love this paint color. And one thing I didn't talk about on the paint, not only are we doing just this Mystichrome paint job, but they are also doing a full-blown paint to sample option. That is exactly right. You know what? I want my sneakers to match my car. I can paint my car to match my sneakers. It's the first time I've ever seen anyone do a Mustang with a full paint to sample. You can bring a color swatch in there. You know what? Hey, man, I really missed that lead foot gray or hyper lime. I would love to have those colors painted on a car. Ford doesn't offer it. That's okay because RTR has got you taken care of. Let's talk about that paint process a little bit more in depth. When they take the car apart, they paint those door jambs first, then they have to reassemble the car and paint the whole thing again. Here's the reason, is because if you just paint one door panel at a time, what's gonna happen is the flip-flop on the paint is not gonna be consistent. So they have to paint those little nooks and crannies first, they assemble the car, and then they make one massive spray, so that way the car has a continuous look on the paint on the entire side of the vehicle. And that brings up another good point. On a vehicle like this, you are absolutely crazy if you don't get paint protection film on the entire vehicle after the fact. And the reason you want to consider that is because if you get a scratch on this door with a color changing color like you have here, you can't just sand and paint and blend this one door. You're probably going to have to do the entire side of the car, if not the whole car as well, because if you don't, at some point, the color change is not going to be consistent all the way across. On the backside of the vehicle, I want to talk about the graphics that you've seen before on the RTR Spec 2, as well as the duckbill spoiler. But as I'm walking around this vehicle and the sunlight hits it in different directions, you know, at 1 second it almost looks gold, at 1 second it almost looks green, and I cannot keep bringing this up enough because I'm sure this vehicle, the color, is not coming over on the camera very well at all. This is something you just about have to see to believe as far as how amazing this color actually is. But moving on from the duckbill spoiler, let's take a look at the RTR badging in the back as well as the exhaust system. This exhaust system is an active exhaust, so you can actually adjust how loud you want it. And in addition to that, this one has an X pipe to make it sound even more aggressive. In fact, let's take a quick listen. Now let's talk about how this car is actually made. RTR and Fox Factory have teamed up to build this vehicle together. So this vehicle is actually going to be built in Trussville, Alabama, right next to our dealership, which, fun fact for you, Town & Country Ford is the exclusive RTR dealer for the entire state of Alabama. And we also happen to be really close to the factory that's building these dadgum cars, or will be building them very, very soon, depending on when you're watching this. So I think it's extremely important to note this is two massive companies that are coming together where RTR is going to be doing the research and development on the car. They're going to be designing it, building them, testing them, but at the end of the day, Fox Factory is going to be using their powerhouse and actually building the vehicles and their infrastructure to take care of the dealers, so that way the dealers can actually take care of you and get these vehicles distributed out. I don't know who came up with this partnership, but that was the smartest freaking thing that y'all did in a long time, because we're a Black Widow dealer, which is, by the way, Fox Factory. We're also an RTR dealer, and really you're taking the strengths out of both companies, putting them together and making something very unique, so that way you can continue on with what RTR's motto is, which is available to all, but it's not for everyone. That's what I think is so cool about this specific vehicle, is that if you want a specific paint to sample, not everybody needs a paint to sample Mustang. But if you're wanting one of those truly unique vehicles, that is what this vehicle is for. And in addition to that, is Fox Factory is going to be building all of their high-end Mustangs, like the Spec 2s with the custom paintwork. Every one of these vehicles with paintwork is going to be done at this factory that we're talking about right now. In addition to that, you've got the Spec 3 and the Spec 5, which is rumored to maybe or maybe not coming, I'm not sure. You know, you just have to stick to the channel, subscribe. By the way, thank you for the 300,000 of you that are subscribed to our channel. Help us hit 1 million. Go ahead and subscribe with that bell notification right now so you don't miss any of those videos. But I think it's so cool that RTR has teamed up with a powerhouse like Fox Factory. I think this was the smartest move that they've made in quite some time. In addition to that, I think there's going to be some other RTR fun projects that are coming down the pipe because of this beautiful partnership. I wonder if they might come out with a Bronco version that could be paint to sample. You know, I know a lot of you guys are really mad that antimatter blue is no longer available on a Bronco. How cool would it be if RTR came out with the ability to paint sample an antimatter or a cyber orange Bronco, as well as maybe even the all-new F-150. I cannot wait to see all of the different things that are coming down the pipeline with RTR. Now, the beautiful thing is this whole paint to sample setup is supposed to be available on dealer lots sometime this summer in 2024. So this is gonna happen very, very fast, depending on when you're watching this video. And guys, I'm just so excited to be showing you an exclusive look, the very first one of these vehicles ever done by Fox Factory with a paint to sample, and this one happens to be the Mystichrome paint job.